Hello, and welcome to an intro to Anthro with two humans. I'm human number one, John McCray.
And I'm human number two, John Lehr.
And this is the podcast where we reassess what it means to be human. And the title of today's episode is This Toot Shall Pass, the Fabulous History of Farting. So, John, I originally wanted this to, I had a working title of The Flabulous History of Flatulence, but I was afraid I wouldn't be able to say it, and so it became This Toot Shall Pass.
Yes, both wonderful subtitles.
And the title obviously is in reference to the old saying, This too shall pass.
Yes.
Which...
But also you pass wind, this toot. It's wonderful job, Professor. As per usual.
It's the thing is, the saying is all about that life is always changing.
Yes.
Is what the saying is about.
Yes,
that
it is.
Nothing good and nothing bad ever lasts.
No.
That's what the saying means.
Yeah.
Which again seemed appropriate and reassuring when it comes to farting.
But so you don't like the actual fart itself? That to me is a relief. I enjoy the fart.
Reassuring, but if you imagine like if you were sitting on the tarmac or something,
yes,
and you smell something coming through,
yes, that's mine. That's my own, or that's someone else's.
Someone else's.
Oh,
someone else's.
Forget it. Yeah. Well, there's always that guy on the plane. I travel quite a bit, and the world over, there these people, and it's usually a man who, for some reason, didn't have time to use the bathroom at the airport, and so uses it at the in the plane. To poop.
Yeah,
and it happens over and over, and I'm just shocked every single time. The inhumanity of it all, the thoughtlessness.
Before you even take off, happen.
We can put a man on the moon, but we can't get it together to poop before we get on the plane.
Yeah, not to mention it's so uncomfortable.
A plane is not for pooping. A plane is for peeing only.
Yeah. Only if you need to. That's like on a bus. Like if you ever take a Greyhound by. I haven't taken a Greyhound in years, but people who go in there to, use the Greyhound.
It's insanity.
I don't even like getting the free like peanuts anymore. Mary's always like, why do you refuse them? And I'm like, look, this is just a tube to get me where I'm going. I'm not going to be. This isn't like a cruise across, the Atlantic. This isn't the Queen Mary. This is like a 3-hour trip.
So you refuse the peanuts just because you want to send a message that you mean business,
right? Because they always give them to you like, you should be so thankful for getting like a cup of coffee, a bad coffee, and a couple of pretzels. And I'm always like, no, thank you. No,
I know what this is.
Yeah, you got to give me more than that.
Me across the country.
Yeah. But anyway, John, I wanted to say quickly that that saying, this too shall pass, everybody thinks that that's from the Bible. And even though a lot of the world's religions have sayings that are similar to it, the actual words, this too shall pass, are not in the Bible. You won't find
There is a season for everything. That's in the Bible. That's Ecclesiastes or something.
I think it is, yeah.
Is it? I've read the good book. I've read the gospel. They lose me with the epistles, to be honest with you.
Yeah, those are the super fans writing those.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little much.
That's not the original artist.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Those are the people arguing about, what the Rolling Stones did afterwards.
Exactly.
It's not the Rolling
Stones who know everything about music.
Yeah.
Just give me some Led Zeppelin.
And there's some controversy about the origins of the saying, but it appears that it was originally a Persian saying.
Ooh.
From the Levant, which is like Syria and Lebanon and
excellent.
And, Israel.
The home of algebra. I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And at least 800 to 1,000 years ago, there was a Persian saying equivalent to "This too shall pass."
Not that long ago, really, in the
No,
scheme of things.
no.
Not that long ago.
And it's sometimes associated with Sufism, which is a mystical movement in Islam.
Yes, we have a Sufi temple nearby
Do you
where I
really?
am recording from right now.
Interesting. You're in the shop, by the way, today.
Yes, I'm in the Oxford House Projects shop that my wife owns. I am
Yeah.
holding down the fort.
Broadcasting from the projects.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
Yes.
And in folk tales, the saying is often associated with King Solomon.
Oh, okay.
And on the Christianity.com website, Rebecca Moshburn quotes Rabbi Lisa Rubin, who says, quote, "King Solomon was trying to humble his wisest servant. So he asked him to perform a seemingly impossible task, to find something that did not exist." And
That's like trying to Google something that doesn't Google. You ever tried that game?
Yeah.
There's that game when Google first came out where you try to Google where you only get one result.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Very hard.
God.
Very hard to do.
It's just getting worse, too. It's just getting
Yeah,
worse.
now you couldn't do it, I don't think.
I usually try to double check our titles because no matter what, there's always somebody else who's come up with the same title.
Got that right.
And so anyway, King Solomon requested a magic ring, one that if a sad man wore it, he would become happy, and if a happy man wore it, he would become sad. And Moshburn says that in the story, the servant couldn't create such a ring. So King Solomon himself had a ring created with the Hebrew words Gamze Yavor, which you can correct my Hebrew.
No, God, no. You kidding? I need the dots for the vowels. I need it all sounded out.
Which means "this too shall pass" written on the inside of it. So that was the ring he came up with. In folklore.
Yes, and filtered through a rabbi. And you know, you gotta be careful because rabbis they'll beg, borrow, and steal. They'll bend it. They'll bend it on you.
That's what I love about Judaism, though.
I mean it with love, but let's be honest. The Talmud is basically a page from the Tanakh, the Torah, and then it has comments about it, and then there's comments on the Torah. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Jews really they interpret the interpretation of the interpretation of the Torah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It was like Facebook and Yelp before there was Facebook and
Exactly.
Thousands of years before.
Yep.
And then Moshburn notes that in 1859, Abraham Lincoln referenced the saying, "This too shall pass," in a speech he gave at the Wisconsin State Agricultural Society in Milwaukee.
Oh, yawn. I'm not going to be at that one. Sorry, Lincoln.
But Lincoln was referring to all the political and cultural turmoil that was occurring at the time due to the slavery issue.
Yeah.
And so I encourage you all to think about this next time you're at work and you smell something coming over from a few cubicles away. Just be like Abraham Lincoln and King Solomon and realize this too shall pass.
Yes. I love that. But pass at the airport, not on the plane, everybody. Let's change that. My God.
And if you are one of those people, I'm going to let you know that in the airport restrooms are going to be cleaner than that thing that you get in the.
They're fantastic. They've solved that. They've solved it. Boy, you know what the best airplane, the train station bathrooms in Europe, in Germany. Oh my God.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
They have this toilet seat that after you use it, it rotates, self-cleaning, and a new one and a fresh appears every time you flush.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Insanity. I mean, it's amazing.
Do they still have attendants in there, sitting in there? Like,
I didn't see any in Germany.
Really?
You don't see a lot. No, soon it'll all be robots giving you your lozenges.
I used to think that would be a job I'd be kind of good at.
Yeah, I bet
sit in there.
You would be. You would be. I totally agree with that.
My mom, when we were in Paris, I'm not sure if I mentioned it. My mom, when we were in Paris, went in to use the bathroom, and there was an attendant in there. And my mom was in there for a long time.
What?
And then my mom finally came out, and I go, "What was going on? Why? What took us?" And she goes, "Well, there was an attendant, and I put some money in the tray, like the little dish,
Yeah.
for tips,
Yeah.
And she said something to me, and so I thought she was telling me I wasn't paying enough, so I put some more in, and she became more animated. So then I put more in, and then she became even more. And my mom ended up spending like $30 for just to go to the bathroom in Paris. The woman was saying thank you. You know what I mean? She was like, thank you. And then my mom would put more in. She'd be like, oh.
God. And your mom's like, no, okay, here's more. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. That was my mom's.
I love more than miscommunication.
So John, first off, I have to, do you find farts funny?
Oh, yeah. Yes. and I'm not alone. We all do. All of us.
Right.
And that's the thing, is that farting is funny. It's a funny sound. It comes out of your butt. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
It's fantastically funny. And if you don't think farts are funny, you need to look deep down within, because you're wrong. You're wrong about yourself.
Do you fart in front of other people? Or do you?
No. I'm trying to think who I would fart in front of. I don't really. I try not. No, I don't like to fart in front of people. No, I don't think that's not funny.
Yeah, it's a fine line. If you push the envelope too far, it breaks. Yeah. Okay, you have to. I'm the same way. I find farts extremely funny, but I try not to fart in front of other people. And Mary, my wife, says that there's something wrong with me. That I'm very demure for a boy or a guy.
That you won't fart in front of her. Does she's like, come on, it's all right.
You've been
married to me for 20 odd. How long you been married?
I don't know. We've been together for 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy at work who I'll go for a while. I'll leave the office even.
I'll try to sneak one out and then look around like who. I'll be the who's smelt it, dealt it.
Yeah.
But no. I don't let one rip and talk about it. Bring attention to myself. You know what the funniest fart is? When your dog farts. That's the funniest.
I was going to
and everybody's just like dies laughing. Or your kid. I remember my kids farting and for the first time, and like their eyes go wide, and
just a shock. A shock. Speaking of dog, our dog Bianca now is 14 years old, and she had a pretty rough life before we adopted her up in Santa Fe. But she had by really young, she'd had like two huge litters of puppies for whatever reason, had been chained up. And so now I just, everything she does, I find wonderful. But she'll come into my office when I'm working, and first of all, she'll go to sleep and snore, extremely loud snoring. And she farts all the time, audibly and odoriferously. Will be farting all day long, and and the thing is, when like my wife will come into the office to say something to me, and she'll be like, it's almost like at Blazing Saddles. Remember Mr. Taggart?
Oh my God. She starts tearing, and you're just proud because she can do no wrong.
Yeah, but still, and then sometimes the snoring's so loud that when I'm in meetings for work and we have to do them through Zoom calls, I'll unmute and say something, and in the background you can just hear, and people will pause afterwards. Like great. I could like wondering where I am or whatever.
Well, I had an 130-pound Alaskan Malamute named Diesel, who could clear an entire house with a fart. It was insane. It was insane. That dog could clear a whole house.
What'd you do? Did you feed him like the raw meat or something like that?
No, we gave him regular dry dog food, but he would eat everything. I once saw Diesel eat a rock. That dog would eat. He was a machine. He was a bear. He was just massive.
That's funny. Yeah, he was huge. He was huge.
What a great dog.
But Mary says that she thinks that it's something to do with my office because she realizes when she comes in there, she wants to pass gas too. It's something about me.
There's a calmness there where you just relax. Everyone relaxes. That's nice. That's nice.
And by the way, I've cleared this with her beforehand, and she wanted me because I didn't want her to think that I was talking about her farting.
Right.
But she
Right.
said she's very much pro farting.
Yes. Yes. Don't hold on to your farts. Either let them go or go somewhere and don't let them go. That's
yeah. Don't kill yourself over it.
No.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it.
Everybody has to.
If you need to, get in the car and go for a drive by yourself and open the windows.
Just walk around the corner. You know what I mean? You don't even have to.
Mary for years was arguing that she had something called HAFE, HAFE,
Whoa.
which is an acronym for high altitude flatus expulsion.
Oh, so that when she was in a high altitude, she had to fart?
Right.
I guess
she said, I mean, and her argument was that when she's visiting her parents in Cleveland,
she's fine.
But as soon as she comes back to Albuquerque,
she's a fart machine. Huh. That is very interesting. I think there's something to that.
Right.
I think there's something to that. Because the pressure pushes gas out.
well, the thing is, that's what and she finally looked it up to prove it to me, because for years I was just like, come on, this is BS, I mean, and so she showed me an article from Outside Magazine from 2013, and sure enough, HAFE, or high altitude flatus expulsion, is a real thing.
From what magazine? Outside?
Outside. It's like a nature kind of hiking outside.
What the hell is Outside doing an article on high altitude farting?
Because mountain climbers for years have been reporting all of the high altitude farts that they get when they go up in the mountains.
And they're in a pup tent with their fellow climber.
Right.
And it's cold, so you don't want to open up. So you gotta Dutch oven that shit.
Yeah.
You gotta just let it. Wow! Don't light a match.
Right,
man. Speaking of, have you ever lit one of your farts on fire?
I've never done it, but I've had a friend growing up who he loved that.
And he did it. Did he show it to you?
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really works.
It's an amazing thing.
And he actually ended up like hurting himself. I think he got some burns down there.
What, he sucked it back up somehow? Or what did he do? Hold it too close?
Backdraft.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jesus. He caught a dingleberry on fire or something.
That's like a tire fire. That thing could go for years.
That'll never go out.
And in the article from Outside Magazine, Erin Beresini says that most people get toots, is how she describes them.
What?
Meaning more farts at high altitudes.
Oh,
so altitude, yeah.
Can you imagine Erin getting this assignment? Erin, come here. What? You need to do a story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What on?
And you just see the chain of it having gone through, like, forwarded from other people. Like, I'm busy. And then it finally gets down to Erin.
She's like, shit. All right.
And she says that researchers originally thought that high altitude flatulence was due to what you were talking about, which is Boyle's law. And in physics, Boyle's law says that the volume of gas increases as pressure decreases.
Yes.
Which is what you said.
Yes.
And so for years, researchers speculated that the decreased air pressure at high elevations increased the volume of gas, which obviously had to escape somewhere.
I'm going to take a guess. Can I take a stab of what it really is?
Okay.
When you're in higher altitude, your breathing is influenced and you end up taking more air in, trying to get more oxygen, and air equals farts. Is that it?
No, but it's very good.
Doesn't it sound good?
Yeah, that may be a corollary to it. But Beresini notes that there was a study done in 2013 by Australian researchers. I love the Australians.
Wait a minute. Big question mark on this one.
And they found that it was actually due to carbon dioxide diffusing out of your bloodstream as the air pressure decreases.
Interesting.
So the lead researcher, Graham Slaney, said, quote, "We've got carbon dioxide dissolved in the bloodstream.
Okay.
As the atmospheric pressure reduces, the gas that's dissolved in the liquid will come out of that liquid.
I see.
So essentially, in the bowels, you'll have more gas that will diffuse into the gut and expand, obviously causing flatus.
Well, it
So,
is Boyle's law when it comes to the blood, because the atmosphere
right,
is influencing the blood.
right, you're right.
It's just not down in
Yeah,
the bowels where we thought it was.
right. It's a little more complicated, I guess. So,
I've had a lot of experience with flatulence lately.
really?
Yes, because I had to fast for a colonoscopy recently, as you well know.
Yeah.
And a lot of farting then. It's a lot of everything. It's getting everything out of your system. And then I found out that it was inconclusive, and now I have to go back, and I have to fast for 2 days this time around. Did I tell you that?
Yeah. You told me that it wasn't good enough.
It wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And you know what weird about that? And I have not mentioned this to anybody.
Yeah.
But on the little report they gave me, they said that there was potato and tomato skin still in me.
Oh, no. They knew you were lying. They knew you were lying with you.
Tomato skin? How the hell was there tomato skin? Like,
don't ask me. You're the one that knows.
There.
Yeah. Stop lying. That's all.
The only tomato I get is one that's on a hamburger. It's a slice. I don't even know. Tomato skin.
Yeah. You need to be honest with yourself. And then before you can be honest with me and with your doctor, you need to be honest with yourself and tell us the truth.
I must be lying to myself because I have no awareness. Tomato skin.
All right. When you're ready, let me know.
All right. All right.
But now you have to go back. Now
I have to go back. I'll let you know. I'll keep everybody posted.
Maybe we should do a podcast from it.
No.
Just have you right before you go out.
The drug they give you. God, the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Did they put you out?
Oh, yeah. And then those few minutes before you go to sleep are just fantastic. In my old days, I would have done a poor man's a speedball, and tried to keep myself up to enjoy it.
He's trying to get off the table. He's trying to walk around.
Yeah, give me a line.
Yeah, get his keys away. Get his keys away.
No, don't let me say.
Yeah, so I can't wait for my next one. That's the best one.
Wonderful.
But anyway, remember, hey, if ever for people who new relationship, you want to go camping together, go up into the mountains.
Watch out for the Hafe. Yeah.
Just be aware. Just be aware of that.
Yeah, just still be in the pup tent. Just keep that little window in the back open. Right by your heads. That's what that's for. That's for Hafe.
Yeah, it's got to be like, I think it's a skunk. I think it's it's musky. It's musky. It's like a bear.
Yeah,
it's a bear out there.
Mm-hmm.
But John, I thought this show was going to be very easy for me to do, as far as the research, and I thought I could make some fart noises at the beginning and throw in some puns and double entendres. And then that would get you going. And then I thought you could just improvise, a riff on farting for an hour.
Yeah. But no.
Well, I thought once when I started working on this with my idea was that, once you start going, I could just sit back
and relax. Well, I can, if you really want me to go. Farting we'll be ready for it all. But no, we've got to give people facts. This is a science show.
Yeah. But my idea was that I would start working as you were going. And I could start working on next week's show. I'd start reading, and I just kind of listen to you out of the back of out of the corner of my attention. And then when you kind of slow down, I come in and throw something else out.
Some other thing, and then I go, well, let's see how it goes. Maybe you'll be able to get something done.
It'd be like, it's funny you mentioned Led Zeppelin. It would be like, remember with disc jockeys when they had to take a pee or something or take a break,
they would put on
Stairway to Heaven because it's 8 minutes long, or In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Remember Iron Man?
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, baby. I can't do that. We're gonna get copyright.
Yeah. Stop. He didn't finish it. But that's 17 minutes long. And then I read an article by Gary Freeman, who was a disc jockey, or maybe still is a disc jockey. who said the number one song DJs would put on when they needed a break was Rare Earth's Get Ready, which was 21 minutes long.
You're kidding. 21. God, I feel like I've heard that song many, many times.
I know, but I guess maybe they cut it down when they actually play it. But if you hear that late at night, you know that the disc jockey's probably over getting a hamburger or something.
Well, that's all gone. It's all AI now. There are no disc jockeys left.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I used to love it when you could actually call in.
God, yes. I'd call in and fart in the phone and hang up. Am I on the air?
Yeah. Go ahead, caller. Just over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that movie Play Misty for me. Only you're the guy. But as with anything that humans do, I found out that farting is a lot more complicated and complex than what we initially think it is.
I'm not surprised.
And as you know, humans are naturally animals, and I'm sure that farting's been with us since we became a species.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what walking upright did with farting.
Yes.
But I wanted to know, as I went through this one, when did farting stopping something that just happened? For example, you don't see dogs just like looking at each other like, "Hey, what did you do?" You know,
right?
That wasn't acknowledged, and when did it start actually being a thing? You know what I mean?
I see.
Yeah. Like, when did we start to acknowledge farting vocally with laughter, or even cognitively with some sort of internal acknowledgement?
Yeah, even a wrinkled nose.
Right. And the thing is, it is a thing because Mary and I, several years ago, we were down at Carlsbad Caverns in southeastern New Mexico, and it's a huge cavern complex.
I hear it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's beautiful. And a thing that they do is they'll take you down in groups of, I don't know, like 50 people or something. And it's with a park ranger. And at a certain point, the park ranger turns out the lights and to show you how dark it is. And when the lights went out, immediately, like light goes out, beat. somebody lets out a huge fart.
Fantastic.
And we all break up in the dark. You know, we're like 750 feet below the surface of the earth.
Fantastic.
I know.
That's fantastic.
And we were all dying. Like the whole group was dying. Probably using up oxygen that we could have used if there was an accident.
I love that. All ages, kids to grandparents, everybody dying laughing. That's fantastic.
And the thing that made me think about, like, first of all, it had to be somebody who had been on this tour before that knew, because the timing was so perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I thought maybe it was the ranger. Maybe
you're right. He would know. He was literally at the switch.
Yeah.
God, you're right.
Maybe that was something that he did every tour because he knew that would get a laugh. You know.
Well, I mean? He was right. He was right. And if he's listening, keep it up.
Yeah.
That we need more of that in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that more than like a particular stalagmite or stalactite. Sure. Or something.
What's a stalagmite but a stalactite that's upside down? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the cultural and cognitive power of a fart. Is that you can't help but laugh at it.
That's
and whether we go back thousands or even millions of years, we were obviously farting, but when did we start actually laughing at it?
That's what I want to know. Did the Egyptians laugh at their farts?
I think they probably did. But even if you're alone, so say, for example, you're getting ready for work or something, and you bend down to put on your socks to get ready to work, and you feel something slip out down there.
Out? I'd let it go free. If I'm alone, all gates are open.
Throw open the door.
Yeah.
Throw open the door.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you usually acknowledge it, though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Even by yourself, you'll be like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
Or something, you know? And there's only one thing you could do at that point, and that's to count your blessings.
Yes.
And because at least you were wearing Watson and Company socks. Watson and Company
Oh!
socks are the only socks designed by Bradley Watson himself for style and comfort and durability. They come in 17 colors to choose from in their mid-crew line, to 2 colors to choose from in their ankle sock line, and they're only $3 a pair.
They're
The
good
world may not,
socks.
they are good socks.
Yeah.
The world may not have your back, but Watson and Company has your feet. So please check them out at watson-co.square.site.
Yeah, or they're on Instagram as well.
Right.
You are absolutely right. If I'm going to be on a cold tile floor letting one rip, I want to have some Watson socks on.
Yeah, they're great socks.
They
Be
really
thankful.
are.
Nothing lasts. Nothing. This too shall pass as far as the fart goes, but your Watson and Company socks will still be there.
Way to
afterward.
go. Nailed it once again. Well done.
Little Easter egg. I put a little Easter egg.
I love that.
But today, John, we're going to take a serious look at farting. And I'm going to tell you, there may be times you want to giggle.
Mm-hmm.
There may be times you feel a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
There may be times that you want to let one go.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want you and our listeners to know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And just feel free. But for you, John, be sure to hit the mute button.
Yeah. I don't think I have one in me. I think I'd have to soil myself to get one out now, which I'm not going to do. I'm a grown man.
I bet you that tomato skin is still in there. just fermenting.
If I could fart those tomato skins out, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
What about the potato? They found potato in there.
How do they know? That's what I'm thinking.
It's their job to know.
Ooh,
it's their job to know.
I'll never understand. I'll never understand people who want to do something like that. I don't how do you end up doing that? I don't know. I don't know, but somebody has to. I'm glad they do.
Yeah. They're experts, John. They're experts. They know, and they know when you've been lying.
Yeah,
okay? That's good.
That's true.
So in this week's episode, as I was doing the research, I read a lot of articles and books about farting.
Mm-hmm.
And as I did my research, there was one name that kept coming up a lot. And that name was Jim Dawson.
Ooh,
okay.
I thought you were going to say Farty McFlusterfart.
No. This is
Farty
this is a real guy. This is a real guy.
All right.
And Jim Dawson is a writer and journalist.
Okay.
I think he lives in L.A. He writes about a number of different topics like music, rock and roll, and pop culture.
Okay.
But he's also devoted a large part of his career to writing about farting.
Jesus.
Okay.
All right.
And in fact, Jim Dawson may be the world's leading authority, or at least cultural authority, on the subject of flatulence.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
And Jim Dawson calls himself a fartologist.
Okay. I don't know. I'm getting a mental picture of Mr. Dawson now.
Yeah. But just as we have archaeologists and anthropologists, apparently we also have fartologists, or at least one fartologist.
At least one. And he's got a calling card with it printed on there.
Well, he's been on Stern, he's been on Stephanie Miller. I mean, he's made the round.
He's legit. Okay.
He is legit. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was thinking we may have to petition the American Anthropological Society to add like a final field or another field of like you would have the 4 fields of American anthropology. Cultural anthropology, physical anthropology, linguistic anthropology, archaeology, and then fartology. And Jim Dawson has written 3 books on farting, including the 1999 definitive book, Who Cut the Cheese? A Cultural History of the Fart.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
And then in 2006, he wrote Blame It on the Dog, A Modern History of the Fart.
Okay.
And then in 2010, he wrote Did Somebody Step on a Duck? A Natural History of the Fart.
Okay. He's covered it like a gallon of paint. He's got it. Yeah.
So that's the point I'm making, is that all of these books are really fascinating and they're funny reads. And Jim Dawson has extensively researched this topic extremely well. So well, in fact, that we may have to just kind of fart quietly for for a couple decades or years to give him more material
Wow.
that he can write about. You know, I mean,
Jesus. He's covered it all.
right. But I would say that I believe in 100 years from now, 200 years from now, fartologists at that time will probably look back at his work, 1999 work, Who Cut the Cheese?
He's a pioneer.
Right. It's going to be like The Origin of Species by Darwin. Right. You know what I mean? So I want to say thank you to Jim Dawson for all of his research. And the reason I'm saying that is because you'll find me quoting Jim Dawson a lot in the remainder of this episode, simply because he's done so much work on it.
Understood. It's like if you're talking about physics, you're going to talk Einstein. If you're talking farts, you're going to talk Dawson.
Right, exactly.
All right.
He's the pioneer. He's the pioneer.
Understood.
And just for those of you who are serious about farting or fartology and want to continue your studies, you know, you got to start with the first. Start with the Bible. You know, 1999, Who Cut the Cheese?
That's right. And we'll have a link to that on our resource page of our podcast.
Right, exactly. So he says in the book, Who Cut the Cheese, quote, "You create a fart by converting undigested food in your lower colon into intestinal gas and then blowing it through the small aperture where the fatty flaps and folds of the integument, the brown part of the rectum's mucous membrane, vibrate and often create a fleshy clamor. The more you push and squeeze, the louder the fart sounds."
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And it sounds, I mean, it's obvious, like we all kind of think, but it's one of those things where you need to hear it spelled out to demystify it. You know what I mean?
Your starfish is opening up just enough so that the flaps all kind of vibrate and flap it out like a whoopee cushion, really.
Right.
5 whoopee cushions at once.
A fleshy clamor is what I like. It's what I love hearing it described as. And Dawson says that farts are mostly created by E. coli bacteria in the intestine that feeds on the food you've eaten that's fermenting down there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on down there.
Right. And he says that the E. coli then collectively microfarts the gas from this process inside you. And then when it collects enough of it,
then you take over. Your body takes over and grabs all those little gas bubbles, turns it into one, and lets it rip.
Right. You got it. Eureka.
It's like when you're blowing bubbles and you get a couple of them that join together into one big bubble.
Yeah.
That's what's happening down inside us.
And next side is big enough that you can jump inside of it, inside of the bubble. And like you were saying, Dawson says that the air you swallow and the alkaline secretions from your stomach also affect your farts.
Yeah. And
for those of you, the tech heads out there, Dawson says the typical fart is 59% nitrogen, 21% hydrogen, 9% carbon dioxide.
Okay, makes sense.
7% methane.
Yes.
And 4% oxygen.
Oh, man. That is a combo right there. Those are some noble gases coming out of your starfish.
I know.
Yeah.
And they're all odorless. Those are all odorless gases. But he says, quote, less than 1% of a fart is made up of tiny amounts of other chemicals, such as ammonia and scatole, or scatole, from the Greek scatos, meaning shit. So that's where we get scatological humor.
See, that's what people don't like to talk about, is what really is coming out of your ass. They're the things that smell are little, tiny, microscopic turds. That are coming out.
Little particles.
That's just the way it is. I mean, that's just what we do.
That's what people are inhaling into their nose to their olfactory.
Yes.
And Dawson says that these particles stink so pungently, people can smell them at levels of 1 part per 100 million parts of air.
Woo! I know that kind of fart. Man. Yeah. Because it's that stuff that's down at the bottom that's just sitting in the nastiest of the nasty, man. So nasty that other organisms need to kind of grind it up for you. So nasty your own body doesn't know how to get rid of it. I mean,
thank God for E. coli.
Oh, thank you for E. coli.
Yeah.
Oh, the nastiest of all of the bacteria. E. coli is the only thing that'll vacuum that crap up.
Yeah.
Your tomato peels, if you're lucky, whatever it is.
Even they couldn't get that thing out.
Even my E. coli couldn't take care of that.
And he says that the hydrogen sulfide smell you get is from our own mucus that we're swallowing.
What?
And that makes our farts smell like rotten eggs. So as we're
our own mucus. Wait, does Dawson footnote this? How do we know?
That's what he says.
All right. Okay.
Et tu, Brute? Our own mucus. Our own mucus.
It makes sense though, sort of poetically.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing we complain most about, that rotten egg smell, is from us.
Yeah. We're the rotten egg.
Yeah. But I guess we
are the fart.
Now, how do you feel? Let's just take a moment.
It makes sense. There's something very spiritual about that.
Yeah. But I think it's like when you swallow it, apparently you try to digest your mucus or whatever, and it produces that rotten egg smell.
I swallow mucus. I'll do that.
Yeah, me too. The other interesting fact he says is, and again, this seems obvious, but our farts when they first come out are 98.6 degrees. So the body temperature.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Same as our turds. Same as our turds.
And then you immediately light it on fire and boom.
Right. I was thinking, if anybody wants to test that, like if anybody's incredulous about get out your turkey thermometer.
Yeah.
And then I'll publish your results on our Facebook.
We'll trust you. Don't send us anything paper. Digital only, people.
On average, men fart 10 to 15 times a day and produce a quart of gas on a daily basis.
Jesus. That's a lot of gas.
That is a lot of gas.
A day.
And Dawson notes there was a guy in the 1970s who apparently farted 34 times a day and once farted 70 times in a 4-hour period.
Jesus. I think that was my college roommate from freshman year.
Yeah, there's no name there. He said that guy once.
Speaking of Stern, sorry to interrupt, but speaking of Stern, they'll have a guy who can fart on command for as long as you want.
Right. I don't know if that's Mr. Methane, but there's an English guy who performs.
Who can just fart. That's weird. That's what's going on there, you think?
Just control. Just it's a talent. You got to be born with it. Not all of us can be Pavarotti.
Like the trumpet. You can control the air. Okay. Wow.
You can take all the singing lessons you want, John, but you're never going to be,
Mm-mm. It's
you got it or you don't.
Yeah. It's practice, but it's also, like you said, it's the genes you're born with.
Right. And the determination. Yeah.
But determination without genetics won't get you anywhere.
Yeah. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? What's the old saying?
Genetics and determination.
Practice.
Practice.
So women, on the other hand, fart about 8 or 9 times a day.
Now, so they really do fart less than men.
They do fart less. These are averages. These are averages.
Right. And they're coming from Dawson, right? We have no other.
Well, I did corroborate that. His numbers are definitely corroborated by other research.
Okay, so. Good.
As you get older, you fart more because your bowels become less elastic and thus less likely to store up gas.
Oh, so you can't hold it, so it just comes out.
Right. So you might not even know that as you get older. This is something we have to look forward to.
Yeah.
You might not even know that you're farting as you get older.
Yeah. There's some that have slipped away from me. I'm going to be honest.
Remember in the first Dudley Moore in Arthur. Remember, there was a scene when he goes to visit his grandmother who keeps farting, and the dog would always whine every time she did. And the butler's like, every time she farts, we blame the dog or something like that. Remember that? That's what we have to look forward to.
By the way, those Dudley Moore movies don't hold up. They don't hold up so well. Yeah.
Remember they came back in. They came back in with that one and tried to do a second one where, like, get the gang back together. So they got Liza Minnelli, and then now he's lost his money. And then now he's just like some ineffectual like jerk. Yeah. Like, can't do anything.
They don't hold up. 10 doesn't hold up. None of them. They don't hold up.
It was a time. It was a
time, and it's gone.
Small time from like May 1978 to like August 1980. Maybe. That's pushing it. And Dawson says that most farts are usually caused by raffinose, stachanose, and verbicose, the three wise men of farting.
Okay.
And they're complex sugars called oligosaccharides that are found in legumes like beans.
Okay.
And leafy vegetables.
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah. And the most guilty legume in popular culture is Phaseolus vulgaris, which is the common bean. But then M.D. Whalen in their book, The Big Book of Farty Facts, says that soybeans actually have been shown to cause more farting or flatulence than other beans.
To me, they're running head to head.
And then another tie-in with anthropology, Dawson says that Colin Leakey, who was the son of the famous physical anthropologist Louis Leakey, developed a low flatulence bean called the prim bean in the 1990s.
Oh my goodness.
So Colin Leakey, not wanting like lots of, I don't want to follow in my father's footsteps. I'm going to go
in a totally different direction.
I'm going to create a non-gassy bean.
Didn't the Leakeys find Lucy or no?
No, that was Johansson. But the Leakeys were like back in the 30s and 40s were finding amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like some of they're part of the big triumvirate of anthropologists.
The Michael Jordan of
right.
Right. Okay.
And in the book, which was written in 1999, Dawson notes that the prim bean wasn't selling very well. And Leakey maintained that there was a conspiracy to destroy his success.
Oh, boy.
And a person at his company said, quote, "Big bean companies are worried about marketing low gas beans because it implies their other beans are high gas. So it'd be negative marketing."
Okay. Well, that's not conspiracy. That's just laissez-faire economics.
I know. It's like at a certain point, you got to say enough with the conspiracy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, no, there's no conspiracy trying to keep people from knowing that beans make you fart. You know what I mean?
People like to fart. That's the thing that he didn't realize.
Right.
Everybody likes their own farts. Everybody.
Right.
And so, one of the perks of being a vegetarian is you get to fart a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, those are the worst. Like the vegan ones? Vegan ones that you like at college where people
you get stuck in a room in an elevator with a vegan, forget about it.
Yeah. Those people were like probiotic.
Gallons of hummus,
I remember when they used to have the like the different club festivals at college, and they'd all have out their tables or whatever. And you go up near the vegan table or the probiotic.
Whoa! Don't light a match. We're all going up in a ball of fire.
So, John, then now we move on to the history of the word fart itself, which is fascinating.
Good.
And in the book, The History of Farting, Dr. Benjamin Bart quotes the McCray Dictionary, which is Australia's national dictionary.
Okay.
And they say that the word fart comes from the Middle English ferten, F-E-R-T-E-N, which came from the Old English feorten, F-E-O-T-A-N.
Okay.
Which came from the Old High German ferzen, F-E-R-Z-E-N.
I'm believing. I'm buying in on this.
I love Feorten. Feorten sounds like a character from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it does. Hey, where's Feorten? Oh, he went around the corner. Give him a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Lord
right.
Feorton,
Yeah, we're
the
too
Lord of
close to the
Rohan.
dragon. Too close to the dragon. You wait here.
And the McCray dictionary defines a fart as, quote, an emission of wind from the anus, especially an audible one. In, in case you needed to go even a little bit deeper with it.
Yeah.
And it also defines a fart as a foolish or ineffectual person.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like an old fart. That old fart, he just sits around.
Yeah, look at that old fart.
And then from there we get the verb to fart, which again means to emit wind from the anus or to behave stupidly or waste time. Like I was just farted around on my day
farting
off.
around. What'd you do? I don't know. I farted around.
And Dawson notes that the word fart actually comes from the Old English ferten, V-E-R-T-E-N, with a V sound. But around 600 years ago, there was a vowel shift in English where the sound for V became pronounced as an F.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Dart is a totally different thing.
Right. And I think we'll have to do a show on that because I think in linguistics, there's a term called Grimm's Law that talks about that consonant shift in English. And it's really fascinating.
Interesting.
And for those of you who don't want to wait for our episode and want to get an expert actually talking about, there's a great podcast called History of the English Language by Kevin Stroud. And it's fascinating. He goes into detail about all of those shifts and about how our modern English has evolved and become what it is.
Putting him on the guest list.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Possible
I used to listen to that when I commuted up to the O'Keeffe Museum for work every day.
Oh, God. McCray.
And so I'd have an hour and 15 minutes.
You were the most unique person I have ever met.
But I don't, so I could go through a lot of them. But then once I got a real job, this is a bad thing about getting real jobs.
You were listening to linguistic podcasts. This is early on, too, in the world of podcasts.
Right.
And you're doing that while that's what's in your ear as you're walking around.
Oh, no, I was driving. It was on my commute up there.
Only on the commute, because you need all your senses when you're guarding the paintings.
Yeah. You got please don't touch.
Yeah.
Please don't touch. You got to be smart. You got to be, you got to be sharp.
Yeah.
You can't be listening to this. I'd be lost in reverie.
Yeah.
In this case, I was just lost in reverie as I was driving. And then Dawson notes that other fart-related terms like fart sack means a sleeping bag.
Okay. I've never heard that, but I agree. It is.
Fart hole for asshole.
Fart hole? Okay, yeah.
Artsy fartsy.
Artsy fartsy. I use that all the time. All the time.
Like a pretentious artist.
Yeah.
And then there's a term fart catcher for someone who's kind of obsequious or like a sycophant.
Oh,
somebody,
fart
the king.
catcher. Oh, yeah. I like that.
Kind of like an ass kisser.
You're down there sucking up his farts.
I actually refer to my recliner as a fart catcher.
It's like a big old filter that you're sitting on there, like a big old cigarette filter. Just takes it
muffled.
out. Like a big Brita filter, the pitcher. You're just farting into a big old Brita pitcher.
Yeah. Then like 2 times a year with a spring cleaning, I take it out in the backyard and air it out.
Yeah. Don't unzip the cushion.
I have to hire some workers to come in and like carry that thing out for me because I can't lift it anymore.
It's like asbestos.
And then we have the term now, brain fart.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When people say that they forget something that's obviously they should remember.
I like that term, brain fart.
And then Dawson says that in the Indo-European language, which is the proto-language that a lot of our European languages and Indian languages came from, and the Indo-European language, we don't really know what it was, but we can kind of trace back what it may have looked like or sounded like. The word for pass gas was paired, P-E-R, or pezd, P-E-Z-D.
What about pez? Maybe the ZD, you put a little on it.
Yeah, you see where it's kind of like
an onomatopoeia.
You're right.
Hey, I just pissed. I know.
Yeah. You actually, it's required to pronounce it. Like you start it
Yeah.
up top and then you finish it down
Yeah.
below. It's like one
Hey,
of those
somebody
clicking.
pissed.
It's like one of those clicking languages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the Indo-European word evolved into the Latin word pedere, P-E-D-E-R-E, which was the verb to fart, and peditum, P-E-D-I-T-U-M, which was the noun fart.
Mm.
And then pedere and peditum became petto, P-E-T-T-O in Italian, pedo, P-E-D-O in Spanish, and pet in French, P-E-T.
Okay. Because
And
pets fart a lot.
that's
where we get pets, from farts.
I think that's a false correlation between it. But it's actually being tracked down to the Indo-European pesht.
Pesht. I could do it all day.
I know. See, this is what I was wanting to do, and then I could start working on next week's show.
Every time I do it, you should be researching something.
I just want to get you going to where you talk and make sounds and do whatever you want.
But I come out, I'm like a fart. I come out in spurts.
Yeah, you've really embodied this character. The other words for passing gas, for example, flatulence, comes from the Latin word flare, F-L-A-R-E, which means to blow.
Yeah, boy does it.
And that gives us flatus, which is, like we talked about in high altitude, flatus expulsion.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the word crepitate, which means to fart as well. Kind of
crepitate. Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Who crepitated?
Yeah, throw that out there.
I'm going to toss that out.
You sound really educated, like using that word, but when you're like, oh God, who crepitated?
Oh God, who crepitated?
Roll down the window, somebody just crepitated. Suddenly it kind of undercuts the education part of it. But that comes from the Latin word crepitare, which means to rattle.
Oh boy. God, we're smart little primates, aren't we?
I know, it's fascinating.
So great.
And then there's the slang terms for farts. Probably the most famous is to cut the cheese.
Oh, yes.
And in the old days, before supermarkets, like local markets would sell cheese in big wheels, with a rind on it.
Right.
And apparently when the grocer first cut into that rind, there would always be like a big cloud or a big oof of that fermentation would come out of the cheese. And that's where we get the term to cut the cheese.
And if you want to, experience that smell, today you can buy a big round of cheese at a Whole Foods for like $10,000 and go home and cut it open.
Cut the cheese.
Cut your cheese.
That was I always liked that was like going back to a more simpler time.
Yes.
When there was actually somebody who would cut your cheese for you.
All the kids would gather around. He's cutting the cheese.
Whoa.
Come on.
Woo,
that's a bad one.
And then another term, remember stepping on a duck from Caddyshack?
I sure do. Yes.
Rodney Dangerfield's character said that, the farts, and then says, hey, somebody step on a duck.
He was great in that.
Yeah, he really
He holds up. That movie doesn't fully hold up, but he holds up in that movie, in my opinion.
I think Back to School actually holds up. I think Back to School still holds up.
Fantastic, yeah.
And then Dawson also mentions barking spider. Did you ever use that one? Like, really?
A barking spider? I've never heard that.
Like somebody farts and it's like, oh God, that's a Rocky Mountain barking spiders.
No, I've never heard that.
That was one that we would use a lot in the Ozarks and in Kansas City. I know.
How did I miss that?
I know, that was always a good one. That was one of the only ones I really recognized. And then in the big book of farty facts, M.D. Whalen has pages and pages of slang terms for farts. And some of them are float an air biscuit.
Okay.
Airbrush the boxers.
Okay.
Bumpsin burner. B-U-M-S-E-N. Bumpsin burner.
All right.
Ass flapper.
Okay.
Free jacuzzi. Like if you're in a tub or a pool.
Okay. It's a little too cute, if you ask me.
Yeah. Firing the retro rocket.
Okay. Trying too hard. None of these are funnier than fart.
I know. Killing the canary.
Okay.
That one kind of like kind of back in the miners maybe was like,
right.
Oh, God.
Burning a mule. Yeah, that one. That's one.
Tushy tickler.
Okay. I'm never gonna use that ever.
6.8 on the rectum scale.
Oh boy! Now we're in full dad humor.
Yeah. And this is my favorite one. The toothless one speaks.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one where I was like, I've never heard that about it. The toothless one has spoken. And then Dawson discusses the origin of the slang term raspberries. Like where you stick out your tongue and make a fart sound for somebody. And by the way, my wife is the most gifted natural raspberry maker. Like it just perfect. Like how some people can just wink naturally, like just a really quick wink.
Curl your tongue in a tube or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
It's brilliant. She can just the best I've ever seen to make a raspberry. She could do it in different tempos.
Her farts do that?
No, her just like the sticking out her tongue and making it. Yeah.
Well, God, we should get some recordings.
She is just. I've never seen anybody that it just a natural talent. I would say like whistling loudly without your fingers. She can just not the actual, but the raspberry.
Could she like do a song with it? Like
I'm
take
sure
me out to the ball game or something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she could. But sometimes she'll be like, "Hey, I forgot to tell you something," and I always fall for it. I'll be like, "What?" And then she'll give me a raspberry, like stick out her tongue.
That's cute.
Brilliant. But anyway, Dawson says that the term raspberry, razzberry, actually comes from Cockney rhyming slang in London.
Ooh.
And Cockney rhyming slang was used by working class people and also criminals in London's East End.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with Cockney rhyming slang, the way it works is that they would take a rhyming word to mean something else.
Right.
And the most common example they use is the term apples and pears. And apples and pears rhymes with the word stairs. So apples and pears means stairs.
Okay.
And then there's a step taken that's an omission on top of that, meaning you omit some of the phrase. So if a Cockney person said, he ran down the apples, you would know that apples and pears mean stairs. Therefore, running down the apples means runs down the stairs.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That's exhausting.
I know.
I'm having a brain fart over that one.
I know. We'll go into it when we do an episode on slang, but it's fascinating.
Great.
It's fascinating.
Love it. So it's like a secret language. It's like pig Latin, and it's a way to talk where the police and rich people don't know what you're saying.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. And speaking of pig Latin, do you know Goose Latin? There's also something called Goose Latin.
No.
Which I never could speak Goose Latin, but our friend Jeff, who did the
graphic
logo, is very good at pig Latin or at Goose Latin.
Really?
And when he came to visit me, and again, it's just like just like pig Latin. You put in an extra syllable, like alafaf or something like that,
right?
And when Jeff came to visit me in France one time,
he was drunk.
We were on a train. He was probably drunk, and he was, everybody was speaking French around him, and so he started speaking Goose Latin to make it sound like it was a language that they couldn't understand.
That is, I've known him since. Well, you introduced me to him.
Yeah.
So I've known him for 40 years more.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long. And
fluent in Goose Latin.
I never knew this. God, you learned something about somebody.
Yeah. But it was just sit there, and I would try to, because I can't speak Goose Latin, but I would nod my head just so it would look like he was speaking some exotic language on the train in France. But in an article in The Guardian titled "The Ultimate Guide to Cockney Rhyming Slang," Adam Jacot de Boinod gives a lot of examples of Cockney rhyming slang. And for example, bees and honey means money.
Oh.
Rattle and clank means bank.
Rob the bank.
Yeah, I robbed the rattle. You know what I mean? Bottle and stopper means a copper, a policeman.
Okay. These aren't that hard. I mean, they don't cloak it so much. If somebody's saying the word honey a lot and rubbing their fingers together, I'm going to figure it out.
Well, but the thing is, you would say the bees. You know, I'm out of bees, right. Or I need more bees. Or
the bees. I'm out of bees. And be like,
you better watch out. There's a couple of bottles around the corner. You know what I mean? Meaning bottles and stopper means copper. So you know that there were a couple of crops around the corner.
God damn.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It was, and I was originally introduced to Cockney rhyming slang by some friends of mine who were from the East End of London, who grew up on the Thames estuary. And when I was in London, they started telling me about, you know, Cockney rhyming slang. And then they just kept giving me different sayings, you know, different rhyming words. And they may have started out telling me the truth, but at the end of it, I realized that they were just making up shit. they were just making up rhymes.
Yeah, that's what you do to the American.
Yeah, yeah. And so they tell me one that they go, oh, this means, you know, something. I'd be like, oh, I'll try it out later, you know. And then so it's very funny. I mean, it was very funny that they did that to me. But then, you know, when it comes in the book, Who Cut the Cheese, Dawson says that Cockneys in London had been referring to loud farts as raspberry tarts.
Oh.
Okay.
So they say raspberry, meaning raspberry tart, meaning fart.
Right, exactly. You got it.
Would you like me to give you my Cockney accent?
Yeah.
I'm an actor, you know, so I've been trained. I went to
Northwestern. Do you need a few moments to get into character?
Here we go.
Okay.
Hello, Governor. Could you spare a farthing? How's that?
Oh, that gave me chills.
It was brought you back.
It was like a Mary Poppins or like a Dickens. It took me back in like a time travel back in Dickens. Can you say raspberry tart? Like
who just let loose a raspberry tart?
See, fart, and I would know. So then when it came over to, oh, by the way,
thank you.
That's a professional actor, people. He's part of the guild.
That's why I'm on the podcast.
Yeah. That's going to cost some money. I'm sure your agent
it certainly will. I'm union.
Yeah. Does your agent take socks?
10% of them.
Anyway, when the term raspberry, so raspberry tarts means farts, when it came to the U.S., it was shortened again to give him the berries, for example, like to give it like the farting noise, stick out your tongue and give them the farting noise, or to razz somebody. You know what I mean? The same thing when you kind of make fun of somebody.
Yeah, you're farting on them.
Right. And that was, because you're sticking out your tongue, giving the farting noise. Yeah. So you're basically, right. That's what raspberries are.
Oh my God, that's great.
And raspberries became known as the Bronx cheer because of how often it was used, thrown out at baseball umpires in the Bronx.
Yeah. Archie Bunker had a great Bronx cheer.
Did he?
He'd do a little something to it, add a little flourish.
And then, John, just so we get back to what do you do when you fart in public? Okay, if you ever let one. And in the 2015 article titled "Modern Etiquette: What Do I Do When I Pass Wind in Public?" The journalist Lee Suckling, I guess that was
Suckling.
Answered a letter from a person who had written in called Gas Guzzler. And Gas Guzzler said, should I pretend it wasn't me or should I own up to it?
Yes.
Okay. And Suckling notes that public flatulence happens to the best of us at the worst of times.
Yes.
It happens in meetings, at the gym. And then Suckling says, and oddly but very, very commonly, it seems to happen on nightclub dance floors.
What? Where did Suckling get that one?
That sounds like a you problem, Suckling.
Yeah. What are you doing out there? Studio 54, Suckling.
I hope that the the music doesn't go off suddenly. And you just hear Suckling out there. Just
Get
like,
Bianca off the white horse. Suckling just walked in.
yeah. Just the music cuts and you just hear.
Oh, God.
So Suckling says that when this happens, you have to decide whether you value ethics over etiquette or vice versa. Ethically, you should own up to your fart, acknowledge it, say, excuse me, and don't make a fuss, just like it was a sneeze. Okay.
I disagree. I think you're in that situation, you're making it too much about you. You know? The damage is already done. We don't care. Don't now stop us and rub our noses in it and let us know that you've just farted.
Everybody stop. Stop the music. Stop the music.
Hey, sorry, everybody. Can you listen up? I just farted. I'm so sorry. It's like, Jesus, Suckling. Okay. Turn the music back on. Do we need to know that we've all just inhaled some of your feces particles?
We're at a dinner, you start tapping your glass. You know?
Sorry, everyone.
Can I get your attention, everybody?
Oh, God,
Grandpa, can you stop?
Here comes Suckling. She farted again.
And the other thing, she says that to deny a toot, though, when it happens, is to acknowledge that you're a liar. Like, everybody knows that you've done it already. Like, if they know you've done it, then you have to acknowledge it. Usually, I guess.
No. It's too much. It's already happened. I don't know. I mean, okay, if you feel like if somebody heard it, then I mean, if you know, but I don't know.
She says it's what you've mentioned already. She says that, you know, if you're in a room with like some other people, and someone's like, "Ooh, who did that?" Then you should pretend like you're you're like, "Oh, I didn't smell anything."
Yeah, you know, what you do is you turn it on them. Whoever smelled it dealt it. But secretly, you know, you're the one who ripped it because it's not always who smelled it dealt it.
And they know that.
And they know that. And now they know you did it, but they can't prove it because they already dealt it.
And the more they like try to deny it.
And you just sit there and fold your arms and smile. You've won. Checkmate.
Yeah. But Suckling says that, you know, at that point, then you should like wait about 10 seconds and be like, oh, yeah, I just smelled that too. I don't know where that's coming from.
I don't know. I don't think we should be listening to Suckling on this one. Let the real liars handle this one.
So, John, just to wrap up here, you know, you and I both have a live theater background.
Yes, we do.
And you have a master. Is your master?
No,
you have
I have a BS, Bachelor's of Science.
In acting, or is it?
Yes, it's a theater, and I got my speech education certificate. I was a teacher for a while. Yeah, you know that, of course.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you'll be happy to know that there's a history of professional performers who have made a living by farting on stage.
I don't doubt it.
And the most famous of these performers was a guy in France in the late 1800s, early 1900s, who performed at the Moulin Rouge.
Wow. He made it to the top.
In the movie. I don't think he's in the movie, right?
No, they cut that part out. What's he seeing here? Well, it's historically correct. You know what? No. Let's not.
What music would they add to that? Like, what song would they? Smoke on the Water. Ewan McGregor or whatever.
Cut to Christina Aguilera having to bang that one out.
And his name was Joseph Pujol, Pujol.
Pujol.
Yeah. And his stage name was Le Petoman, L-E, and then the next word. Remember, pet. P-E-T means fart.
Fart.
P-E-T-O-M-A-N.
Fart man.
Right, the farting man. Right,
fart man. Hey, here comes Fart man.
Yeah. And according to Dawson, as part of his act, Le Petoman would, quote, fart an amazing variety of sounds, including a yelping pup, his mother-in-law.
Oh, Lord.
And several musical instruments.
Wow.
He could also blow out a candle with his fart from a foot away, and he would play along with an orchestra quote, farting well-modulated notes on key in the
Jesus.
appropriate spots.
Wow. The most impressive is farting a candle out a foot away, a foot candle. That is a long way.
That is a long
I don't even know
way.
I could blow a candle out with my mouth. I mean, a foot. You know what I'm saying? That's a long way.
That is a long way.
You know,
That's how
I
it
put
really
these guys up there with like, you know, puppeteer, you know, penis
puppetry of the
puppeteering.
penis.
Yeah.
Puppetry of the penis.
Puppetry of the penis. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I knew a guy. You did too. We both knew a guy who could fold his penis and ball sack into a hamburger, or he did all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd watch.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to. I'm not waiting in line.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
And it's not. You're not down the subway. You can't take that down the subway.
No.
With that thing.
No. If we're in a kitchen and I'm cracking a beer and somebody's folding their penis and ball sack into a hamburger, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Or the brain. Remember, he used to do the brain.
Yeah, the brain.
The brain.
Never did people. Never did like Charles de Gaulle.
No.
Churchill. This is Churchill coming up.
But he sold it. He'd be like, the brain. And we don't have to be up. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm looking at his junk. What am I doing? I fall down some depressive rabbit hole about what I've done with my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't, I mean, I suppose for like certain parties or something, or I don't know. It's not like an auditorium, like a huge auditorium or an arena. You couldn't do that in an arena.
No. And it comes with a price. You can never get rid of it, the image.
But just so you know, Le Pétoman was very successful. In the day, Sarah Bernhardt, who is probably the most famous French actress at the time, she could bring in 8,000 francs a day, but Le Pétoman could bring in 20,000.
Oh my God. That's why we should go extinct. Right there. Right there.
Right.
Jesus.
And Le Pétoman, apparently his whole thing is he'd wear gloves and a red coat, like tuxedo coat, and he did it all straight faced, you know, like he was a real seriously doing it.
Would he take his pants off, or do you just do it through the pants?
Do it through the pants.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive too, because he didn't have a microphone.
No. That's right.
My God. I'm kind of impressed by him, Fart Man.
Yeah, at some point he would also go backstage, and then they would
pump him full of air.
No, they put a hose. He'd put a hose in there, and then come out smoking a cigarette.
Oh God! Jesus!
And he could also play a little flute.
Oh,
like they put a flute on there.
Get him, son. We should all. The world should just blow up. We're a scourge.
I know.
We're vermin.
He made 2.5 times more money than Sarah Bernhardt at the height of her.
Somebody just kill us all. It's just so wrong. What happened to us?
I know. And just so a little bit of trivia before we end, John. In Blazing Saddles, of course, everybody always remembers.
Yes, another movie that doesn't hold up well. By the way. I'm sorry to say.
The whole scene, the farting scene.
Yes,
is the famous one that everybody's farting in.
Yeah.
But there are other more erudite, I guess, references to farting in it. And one is Blazing Saddles, of course, is like a farting in it. Yeah. But if you remember, Mel Brooks played the governor in that movie. Yes. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And the governor's name is William J. Le Pétoman. In other words, there's a built-in joke that you would only know if you knew that Le Pétoman was a French fartolo.
And that's why we should survive right there. Because that's art for art's sake.
I know.
No one's going to get that reference.
No. Very few people would know that Le Pétoman. Remember, he was always like, he was very lascivious, and Harvey Korman was.
I love that. That's why a urinal is a piece of sculpture.
Right.
Everybody. Wow.
Isn't that brilliant?
Brilliant. God, humans, you can hate him for 1 second and the next love him.
This too shall pass.
Yes.
This
well
too
said.
Shall
well
pass.
Said, Professor. Well said.
All right, John. So just wrapping up, a couple of things to say. The next time you feel something happening down below and you hear a turtle burp, or a belching clown, or a mouse on a motorcycle, Or if you ever feel like painting the elevator, playing the trouser tuba, steam pressing your pants,
Aw.
or rebuilding the ozone layer, just know that you are participating in a 4,000-year-old tradition of fart humor.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And if we can laugh at the fart, the worst part of us,
Yeah.
that the thing we have to get out of our, if we can laugh at that, we can truly laugh at ourselves. And when we laugh at ourselves, we have empathy for the other.
Exactly.
This is human number 2 signing off.
And this is human number 1. If you are still listening after this topic, we appreciate you guys. We love you. Thanks for listening. And thank you to our sponsor, Watson & Company Socks at watson-co-square.site. And remember, everybody, as bad as it gets, this too shall pass. Thanks, everybody. Love you, John. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.